Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video we're going to learn how to crochet this beautiful cable stitch infinity scarf. Before I show the yarn that we're going to use in the crochet hook, I want to talk about the rule. And because our first row is going to be a row of single crochet, the multiples are multiples of 6 plus 3. So we have the multiples of 6 because each cable is completed in a total of 6 stitches. We have 3 quadruple crochet on the front and 3 quadruple crochet on the back. Then I have 1 quadruple crochet here in the end, 1 quadruple crochet in the beginning, so that's a multiple of 6 plus 1 plus 2 plus this chain that we lose when we crochet our first row with single crochet. So let's say if we have a total of 35 chains in the first row, we're going to have 34 single crochet, so we lose 1 chain stitch by turning to the first row. So the rule is a multiple of 6 plus 3. So let's see now what yarn we're going to use. I'm using Alize Extra, and this is 100 grams, 220 meters, and it's 10% wool and 90% acrylic. The yarn suggests a 2 to 4 millimeter crochet hook. We're going to use a 4 millimeter because we want it to be fluffy, but we also want the stitches to be steady. We do not want them to be, we do not want to have big holes on our project, so let's go ahead and start. So for this project I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cables. So 6 times 7 is 42 plus 3, 45. We're going to start with a chain of 45. So start with your beginning knot. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and keep working chains up until you have 45. Okay, so I finished my 45 chains. And what I forgot to mention when I was explaining the multiples and everything, this is going to be an infinity scarf. So in order for the infinity scarf to be wrapped around our neck twice, we want it to be a total length of 1 meter and 50 centimeters. Try, if you're working inches, trying to convert that in inches so you don't get confused. And this is going to be a total width of 28 centimeters. So if you want it to be wrapped around your neck only once, just wear it, you want it to be 75 centimeters, so the total length. So if you want it to be wrapped around twice, you want the twice of that length, so 75 times 2 is 150 centimeters. And okay, that's what I wanted to mention before I started working on our infinity scarf. So let's go ahead and work our first row of single crochet. So skip the first chain, go to the second one and work a single crochet, next stitch, single crochet 2, next stitch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and keep working 1 single crochet in every stitch up until you have 44 single crochet. Okay, so I completed my 44 single crochet. Okay, so now we're going to start our row with the cable stitches. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be working quadruple crochet, and I think that's in US terms. So every time that we start a row for the cable stitches, we're going to start with a chain of 5. Those 5 chains count as our first quadruple crochet in the first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and turn your work. So we're not going to work any stitches in this first single crochet over here because we just did the chain of 5. Those 5 chains count as our first stitch for this stitch over here. So we're going to start from the second single crochet over here. So now the order that we're going to be working our cable stitches is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, because each cable stitch is being completed in 6 stitches, and that's going to happen every time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to start working quadruple crochet in the 4th, 5th, 6th stitches, and then I'm going to come back and work quadruple crochet in the stitches 1, 2, and 3. So wrap the yarn 3 times around your hook. And we're going to start from the 4th single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook in the 4th stitch. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. So we need 4 steps in order to complete the quadruple crochet. Wrap the yarn 3 times around your hook. Put your hook in the 5th single crochet. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. Wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times. Put your hook in the 6th single crochet. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops. Grab the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. So before I wrap the yarn around 3 times around my hook, what I want to show now is that we are going to crochet in stitches 1, 2, and 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hook, take it from the back of the stitches. So you're going to take it to the back of those 3 quadruple crochet that we just did. Bring it to the front and put your hook on the first single crochet. And here's where we're going to work our first quadruple. So let's do it one more time. Once you have your 3 loops around your hook, take your hook from the back of the first 3 quadruple, bring it on the front, and put your hook on the first single crochet. So this is 1, then 2, and lastly on the 3rd stitch. So 3 times around our hook. Take our hook from the back side of the first 3 stitches, bring it on the front. So this is how it looks like at this point. Bring it on the front, put your hook in the first single crochet, and now work a quadruple crochet. And in order for it to be easy to work the quadruple, just pull down a little bit those first 3 stitches and work your first quadruple. So grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the last 2 loops. And we just completed our first triple crochet. Wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times. Take your hook from the back to the front of the stitches. Put your hook in the second single crochet and work a quadruple crochet. So grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the last 2 loops. Wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times. So once you have completed most of the quadruple crochet, just try to open up the stitches so it's easier to see which stitches we need to still crochet in. So take your hook from the back of the stitches to the front and put your hook in the 3rd single crochet, which is our last single crochet, and work a quadruple. So grab the yarn through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the last 2 loops. So if your cable stitch excuse me, if your cable stitch looks like this, do not get nervous, it's not wrong, just pull out from the corner, and this is how it'll look in the beginning. Once we do the next row, which is going to be a row of single crochet, your cable stitches are going to be more visible and they're going to look better. So now we're going to follow the same exact pattern that we just did for this cable stitch. We are going to create the next cable in the next 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the pattern that we're going to start again is 4, 5, 6, and back to 1, 2, and 3. So wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times, count 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 4th stitch, and work your first quadruple. So grab the yarn through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, the yarn through the next 2 loops, and take the yarn through the last 2 loops. Wrap the yarn around your hook twice, put your hook in the 5th stitch, and work your second quadruple. Grab the yarn through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, and grab the yarn through the last 2 loops. Wrap the yarn around your hook twice, and now we're going to work in the 6th stitch. So grab the yarn, pull the first 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the last 2 loops. So we completed half of our cable. Now we're going to go ahead from the back of our loops to the front, and we're going to start crocheting our quadruples in the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd stitches. So wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times, take your hook from the back, and make sure you hold your loops, because if you do not hold your loops, when you take your hook in the back, they're going to come out. So make sure with your middle finger that you hold your loops over here. So take your hook from the back to the front and put your hook in the first single crochet and work your first quadruple. So grab the yarn through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next ones, grab the yarn through the next ones, and grab the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. Wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times, take your hook from the back to the front, and put your hook in the 2nd single crochet. So grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn through the last 2 loops, the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the last 2 loops. Wrap your yarn around your hook 3 times and open up your stitches. So the stitch that we're supposed to crochet is more visible. So put your hook from the back to the front. Make sure your hook is always under the first 3 quadruple that we crochet. Okay, do not take it under the 2 and crochet here, because then your stitches are going to start crisscrossing. So make sure your hook goes under all of those 3 quadruple that we did in the beginning, and put your hook in the 3rd single crochet and work your 3rd quadruple. So grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the next 2 loops, grab the yarn through the last 2 loops. So this is how this cable will look in the beginning. When you open it up, stretch it out, it's going to look better. And it's going to look a lot better when you start making your rows. So we're going to make our next cable, which is going to be again completed in the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to start with stitches 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. Wrap your yarn around your hook 3 times and count 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the 4th stitch and work your first quadruple. Grab the yarn through the first 2 loops, next 2 loops, next 2 loops, and last 2 loops. Our next quadruple in the 5th stitch. Wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times. Our 3rd quadruple in the 6th stitch. Wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times. Now our hook from the back to the front, and we're going to crochet a quadruple in the first single crochet that we left out. It's a pretty easy pattern because we're always going to be repeating the same exact steps. Wrap the yarn around your hook 3 times, put your hook in the second single crochet from the back under the 3 stitches to the front, and this is our second quadruple. And now from the back your hook to the front under those 3 first quadruple, and put your hook in the third single crochet and work your third quadruple. So we just completed our third cable and we have 4 more to go. Wrap your yarn around your hook 3 times, count 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 4th stitch and work your first quadruple. 3 times, put your hook in the 5th stitch and work your second quadruple. 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 6th stitch and work your third quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Now take your hook from the back under the 3 stitches to the front and put your hook in the first single crochet and work your first quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook from the back to the front under those 3 quadruple. Put your hook in the second stitch and work your second quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Take your hook from the back to the front under those 3 stitches, put your hook in the third single crochet and work your third quadruple. So we completed our 4th cable. 1, 2, 3. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook in the 4th stitch and work your first quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the 5th stitch and work the second quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the 6th stitch and work your third quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Take your hook from the back to the front and put it in the first single crochet and work your first quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Take your hook from the back under the 3 stitches to the front in the second single crochet and work your second quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Take your hook from the back under the 3 stitches to the front and put your hook in the third single crochet and work your third quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to start our next cable. So count 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 4th stitch and work your first quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the second stitch and in the 5th stitch and work your second quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the 6th stitch and work your third quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Take your hook from the back to the front and put it in the first single crochet and work your first quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Take your hook from the back under the 3 first stitches to the front and put it in the second single crochet and 1, 2, 3, our last quadruple for this cable. Okay, so we completed our 6th cable. Now we're going to do our last one. 1, 2, 3. Count 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches and work our first quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the second stitch, in the 5th stitch and work your second quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook in the 6th stitch and work your third quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook from the back to the front on the first single crochet and work your first quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook from the back to the front in the second single crochet and work your second stitch. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook from the back to the front in the third single crochet and work your third and the last quadruple for this cable. Now we always have to make sure that we have one single crochet left in the end of our row. Make sure you always crochet one quadruple crochet in the end of the row as we do in the beginning. So we always are going to have one quadruple in the beginning, one quadruple in the end, and 7 pairs of cables, 7 sets of cables in the middle. So wrap the yarn around your hook twice and put your hook in the last single crochet and work your last quadruple. Okay, so this is how our work is going to look once we complete the second row. Now chain 1 and turn your work. This is going to be a row of single crochet. We are going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch, and we're going to take the stitches in a row. We're not going to work 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 again. So every time that we have the row of single crochet, we're going to take our stitches in the row, and we're going to have the total stitches that we had in the beginning. If you do not come out with 44 single crochet, that means that you have made a mistake somewhere. So make sure you count your stitches. So I've chained 1. Put your hook in the first quadruple, which is the last stitch that we crocheted, and you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up until you come to 44, or you can count in each set of cables separately. So what you can do is, I did my first stitch, so now I'm going to work single crochet in my first cable. So put your hook in the first stitch, 1, next one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next cable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you have your 6 single crochet, that means that you have crocheted in the last quadruple that we did for the cable. Next cable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next cable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our next cable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our next cable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Our last cable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and make sure, please be careful, do not forget to crochet a single crochet in your last quadruple, which is the 5 chains that we crochet every time that we start a row with the cables. So put your hook in the last chain up here and work a single crochet. We always have to do that in the row of single crochet. So this is how our work looks like now in the front. See how now our cables look better? And because I tried to make a cable stitch row after the first row of cable stitches, it does not look nice. We do have to make the row of single crochet every time we complete a row of cable stitches. So We completed the row of single crochet, and now we're going to chain 5, which is what we're going to be doing every time that we're going to be starting a row of cable stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and turn your work. So now the pattern is going to be exactly the same as we did in row 2. So up until you complete your work, you're going to be repeating rows 2 and 3. So wrap the yarn around your hook twice. Do not put your hook in the first stitch. This does not count as one of your 6 stitches because we already did the 5 chains. Those 5 chains count as our first quadruple in this first single crochet over here. So when you start counting your 6 single crochet, start from the second stitch. 1, 2, 3, and put your hook in the 4th single crochet and work your first quadruple. 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 5th stitch and work your second quadruple. 1, 2, 3, put your hook in the 6th stitch and work your third quadruple. 1, 2, 3, and as we did in the previous row of cable stitches, take your hook from the back to the front and put your hook in the first stitch over here and work your first quadruple. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Take your hook from the back to the front and put your hook in the second single crochet and work your second quadruple. 1, 2, 3. Take your hook from the back to the front in the 3rd stitch and work your third quadruple. So this is how your cable is going to look before you stretch it out. So when you stretch it out, it looks better. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing up until you complete the row. You follow the same exact steps that we did in the previous row. The pattern for the cable stitch is always going to be 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and complete this row, and when I finish, I'm going to turn the video back on and see how it's going to look like. Okay, so I completed the 4th row of my infinity scarf. What we're going to do now is we're going to crochet together. I stopped in my last cable stitch because I want to remind again that we do have to make the last stitch 1 quadruple crochet in the last single crochet that we have left over here. Okay, so this is how our work looks like so far. So now we're going to chain 1 and start doing the row of single crochet again, and we are going to be starting always in the first stitch over here, which is the quadruple that we just crocheted. So start from your first stitch, your first single crochet, and keep working 1 single crochet in every stitch up until you have 44 single crochet. So let's go ahead and complete our infinity scarf off camera. Always going to repeating rows 2 and 3 always, and when I reach 150 centimeters, I'm going to turn my video back on and we are going to see how to join both sides in order for our scarf to become an infinity scarf. So when I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on. Okay, so at this point I've completed my infinity scarf. What we're going to do now is we're going to join both sides. What's important to know is that our last row has to be a row of cables because we started our infinity scarf with a row of single crochet. So when we join both sides together, it's going to be the same pattern, a row of cables, a row of single crochet. If I make a row of single crochet, I'm going to have 2 rows of single crochet when I join them, and the difference is going to be visible when we wear the infinity scarf. So we want to make it, we do not want to have the joining to be visible. So what we're going to do now is I have already made a chain 1. I'm going to take yarn which is 3 times as long as the width of my infinity scarf, so 1, 2, and 1 more. I'm going to cut the yarn, pull the loop, and tighten up. and tighten up. So now we're going to start joining, and be careful. We want to join on the wrong side. So this is the right side of our infinity scarf, because see how the cables look like. This is the wrong side. This is the wrong side, so we want to join on the wrong side of our infinity scarf. Okay, so you can choose to join by making slip stitches. What we're gonna see is how to make an invisible join of our work. You can also use this kind of join if you're making motifs and you're joining them together. So let's see how we're going to join. Okay, so this is the left side and this is the right side. So I'm going to take the needle and put it on the left side of my work from the bottom to the top on the first stitch. On the right side, I am also going to put my needle from the bottom to the top of the first stitch. On the left side, I am going to put my needle on the second stitch from the bottom to the top. On the right side, I'm going to put my needle from the bottom to the top on the second stitch. And as you go through and you're stitching your infinity scarf together, just hold the corner and pull, so all the stitches, they tighten up and they're tied together. Okay, so put your needle in the third stitch on the left side from the bottom to the top, and in the third stitch in the right side from the bottom to the top. Now put your needle in the fourth stitch in the left side from the bottom to the top, and on the right side from the bottom to the top in the fourth stitch. So we are stitching the same stitch of the left side with the same stitch of the right side of our infinity scarf, and we're always putting our needle from the bottom to the top. Okay, so go ahead to the next stitch from the bottom to the top on the left side, and in the same stitch in the fifth stitch in the right side from the bottom to the top. So now hold your corner and tighten up. See how the joining is invisible? You really can't see where it's joined. And when we finish, and when you go through your infinity scarf, it's going to be hard to find where the joining is. So let's do a few more stitches together, and then we're going to finish it off camera. So make sure you stitch all the stitches from the cable stitches. If you have to, just pull them out. And from the bottom to the top of the next stitch, from the bottom to the top of the next stitch in the opposite side, from the bottom to the top of the next stitch on the left side, from the bottom to the top of the next stitch in the right side, and hold your corner and tighten up. Okay, so go ahead and finish it off. We're following the same steps. When you finish, your infinity scarf has to line up. So when you do the last stitch on the left side, you're going to have to do the last stitch on the right side as well. This way all your cables are lined up when they're stitched together. See how this cable is lined up with the one on the next row? So this is how we want our work to look like. So when I finish stitching, I'm going to turn the video back on and see how our infinity scarf looks completed. Okay, so at this point I've completed sewing, completed joining my infinity scarf. See how the join is invisible and all my cables are aligned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew in a knot, and if you want it to be more secure, you can make a knot with these two pieces of yarn. Once you do that, you want to secure both of the yarns, and if you have any joinings around your infinity scarf, you want to secure those yarns as well. And when I finish doing that, I'm going to turn my video back on again. Okay, so at this point I've completed my infinity scarf, and I need, in order to complete it, I need 3 skeins of yarn. This is the yarn that I used, Alize Extra, we saw it in the beginning as well, and this is what's left from the 3rd skein. So each skein gives us about 55 centimeters. About 55 centimeters. So in order to have an infinity scarf that wraps twice around our neck, and it's at the width that we did right here, you're going to need about 3 skeins of yarn. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and if you like the video, please press like and leave a comment. Thanks again, bye bye.